Hello everybody and welcome. This is Adrian. Thank you so much for joining me today. So the new Total War Warhammer Update 5 patch notes were released today. This update coincides with the release of the Wood Elves DLC on Thursday, December 8th. So I just wanted to go through the patch notes and see what's changed, see what's different, and see the changes that are coming with the new release of the DLC on Thursday. We won't go through everything, we'll just go through the big stuff, I think. So let's get started. The Legendary Lords will now speak in the front end when selected while starting a new campaign. That's pretty cool. Improve the heat haze on the campaign map, which distorted the terrain incorrectly for some users. Okay. Performance optimizations for maps with a lot of trees or vegetation in the outfield. AI reinforcing the player in battle will now always attack after arriving on the field and not defend the area where they entered the battle. I haven't noticed this myself that much, but okay. Resolved an issue that sometimes prevented the battle AI from pursuing after it halts its advance to engage with ranged weapons. Disable the campaign AI's ability to enter forced march stance after raising a settlement. Ooh, this is a big one. So this is pretty annoying if you've ever experienced this. Oh god. Let's see. Vampire Count's Necromancer's Tower building is buildable again by players that don't own the Grim in the Grave. Okay. Lords in battle are now less likely to sit idle on a contested capture point. This I've definitely noticed. This is pretty weird. Let's see. Added aftermaths to the stats to the statistics table. Or tab in the faction summary during campaigns, aftermaths. That's pretty cool. So maybe it'll show you battle results if you want to go back and check out a battle. Improve the bolt throwers unit porthole image during battle. Okay. Manticores no longer playing horse vocalizations will be when selected in battle. Okay. Summons that raise units out of the ground can no longer be cast on walls. Oh, that's cool. So you can't raise units on walls anymore. Curious. Let's see, breath type spells, wind blast, now map to the terrain better. Okay. So this is a change. These are changes that relate to the Call of the Beastmen. There's only one. In the Fall of Man quest battle, the reinforcing Bretonnia Lord is now mounted on a Pegasus rather than on foot. Okay. These are changes concerning the King of the Warlord clan. Angron's ethereal ancestor heroes can no longer be targeted by assassination missions. Greenskins beast layers now provide bonuses to squigs. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Skarsnik's Pernicious Precision faction trait now applies upkeep reduction costs to goblin-based units. Okay, that's pretty sweet. When Clan Angron lords are injured or wounded, the replacements now correctly gain the +5 levels when the faction owns correct 8 peaks. Okay. Added reload time and accuracy rank 9 bonuses to regiments renowned with ranged weapons. Sparring champion units will no longer frequently fall off siege ladders if they're wall space when they're trying to dismount the ladders occupied. Okay. Anything else? Skull Takers no longer have the Vampiric Influence Diplomacy trait. Okay. Added more selection vocalizations for Squig Herds and Squig Hoppers. Added video effects to Smoke Bomb abilities. Okay, not too much there. Balancing changes fixed for infantry performing splash attacks when charging. All melee chariots have been rebalanced to impact harder, melee a bit longer, and pull out better. So chariots are just all around better. Most large flying units have an increased projectile hitbox size, so it's easier to hit most large flying units. Tweaks to timers that make pulling out of melee more reliable. Units pulling out of combat will now ignore combat for a bit longer before being dragged back into it. Okay, so it's easier to get troops out of melee. Potion of Toughness max health replenishment reduced up to 50%. Okay, so Potion of Toughness max health replenishment is just weaker in general now. The High King Frenzy abilities now activate and deactivate when leadership goes above and below 50% mark. So it looks like 50% is a High King and Frenzy abilities kind of minimum or maximum, I guess. Auto-resolver change. Auto-resolver protects high-quality units more and has a stronger tendency to sacrifice low-quality units. Okay, yeah. Because, I mean, assuming if you fight a battle right, your elite units should not ever be in the battle at all. You should actually always fight with your low-quality units. So this makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. Settlement defense towers are now much more powerful in the auto-resolver. Oh, wow. Okay, so if you've fortified a settlement with basically any garrison structures and there are towers there, the better the towers, the much more difficult it is to win a siege with auto-resolve. So definitely, it looks like they're trying to encourage siege fights here because the auto-resolver is going to make you pay for it dearly if you try and auto-resolve a siege battle with towers. Siege equipment now has a more important role in the auto-resolver. Okay, so this kind of balances out this top change here. Basically, if you spend the time building siege equipment, you don't actually siege, say on your first or second turn. You kind of wait it out a little bit before you auto-resolve the battle. You should be a little better off if you built that siege equipment. It's now easier to wipe out entire units in battles, manual or auto-resolved, as they don't have to suffer as much damage to get wiped out as before. That's a pretty nice change. Usually, you know what would happen is in an auto-resolved battle, as well as manual too, actually, units will always escape, and there's always an army kind of moving around on the field, and it's super annoying. So I guess now it's a little easier to kill regiments. Units increased accuracy and reload stats of regiments and renowned missile units up to match rank 9 veterans. Holy crap. Okay. Multiplayer ability attachments. Just some changes here, I think, for various people. Spells and abilities, movement and freeze movement ability duration rebalanced. Added a new spawning unit ability balance system. All spawns are temporary. All units summoned in battle, Siggers, skeletons, manticores, etc. have a new negative ability named Unbinding. This inflicts damage over time to represent their instability. Excuse me. The Unbinding effect scales with the value of the unit. That's curious. So I guess all units summoned in battle are just less... They're less good now. You can't just kind of have them. They unbind after a certain time, which encourages you to send them out to fight. Okay, that's curious. So you can't summon a unit and hold it in reserve. You actually want to go and get it into the fight as quickly as possible. So these are changes to some of the factions here. Britonia, all flying mounts, plus 50 multiplayer cost. Pegasus is -5 ground speed and -5 fly speed. So Pegasi, I guess, or Pegasuses are slower. Pegasus Hero Mount is -100 mass. Okay, so Pegasus Hero Mount is more, I guess, fragile, you would say. A Hippogriff is actually -200 mass. Okay, so Hippogriffs have been definitely nerfed. Spearman at Arms plus, or -2 melee attack and +1 bonus versus large. Okay, so these and the corresponding Empire Spearman changes aim to making them weaker against infantry while retaining their anti-large efficiency. So Spearman at Arms are better against cavalry rather than infantry. You don't want to have them against infantry. So for Beastmen, the Ungor Spearmen have a -2 melee attack. Ungor Spearmen with shields have -2 melee attack, but +2 melee defense. Okay. Both Ungor Spear units were inconsistent in attack speeds and required animation and entity tweaks. They now equal their corresponding Empire units in both combat strength and cost, while Primal Fury gives them an edge in speed. Okay. Centaurs with throwing axes added fire whilst moving animations. That's pretty cool. Minotaurs are now cheaper. In multiplayer, Razorgore Chariots have +8 melee defense, +6 bonus versus infantry, and -6 charge bonus. That's what it is. So Razorgore Chariots are now not as thick in a charge bonus, but they're actually just overall better. The melee defense and the bonus versus infantry is pretty significant. +6 is huge. You know, that's the difference between like taking out an orc big gun and like a black orc infantryman. That's like huge. Razorgore Herds are now cheaper in multiplayer. They have +2 damage, -4 armor piercing, -12 HP, so they're more fragile, -2 speed, so they're slower. Okay. Razorgores have a mirror balance to fit the lower price point. A contextual example, with a bit of luck, they can have defeated a unit of great swords in 3 charges while a unit of crossbowmen is firing at them, and they can have just enough HP to also defeat the crossbowmen. Holy crap. So they've been rebalanced to make them just overall weaker. I would say they look weaker. +2 damage is nice. They're cheaper though, and then they're just slower. They have less HP and they have less armor piercing, so they're just overall weaker. But then again, they're cheaper too. This is changing for Chaos. Chaos Marauders are now 25% multiplayer cost, so 25 gold cheaper, I believe. Chaos Marauders with the great weapons are now +1 melee defense. Wide formations, a great weapon. Marauders takes out an improved dwarf warrior with 30% HP left. With about 30% HP left, they cost more, but they also have a decent speed advantage. They're also cost effective against great swords. So basically, a Chaos Marauder with a great weapon is actually able to take on dwarf warriors and pretty good against great swords for the money because of that armor piercing. So it's not bad. Chariots are, wow, all across the board cheaper by 100 gold, and then +8 melee defense. That's huge. Gorebeast Chariots, -10 charge bonus, but +4 melee attack. Okay. Chosen with Halberds are now +4 bonus versus large, but -2 melee attack and +4 melee defense. So the Chosen with Halberds are actually better against cavalry and better on defense, not so much on offense. So probably makes them a little worse versus infantry, but then again, they're still Chosen with Halberds. You don't want to mess with those guys. We buffed the Halberd version of the Chosen to be a bit more anti-large focused while holding the ground longer in all melee engagements. Yeah. So you'd probably prefer either Chaos Warriors or just regular Chosen for attacking infantry, because these guys are more for cavalry. Anything with halberds or spears. Kolek is now stronger, +10 bonus versus large, reduced hit reaction chance, and he's actually he's got a minus to his attack interval and his teleswipe attacks. And then Dragonor Shaggoth, let's see, 402 HP. That's huge. +10 bonus versus large, same as this guy up here. So Kolek, Sun Eater, and then Dragonor Shaggoth are overall, yeah, I would say they're actually much more powerful. 300 HP, 402 HP. That's quite significant. Kolek and Shaggoths can now convincingly defeat 1 Demigryph Halberd, 2 Reiksguard, or 5 to 6 Squig Herds. They are still not cost effective against Spearmen, but the tail attacks help them against getting swarmed. Okay, yeah, so they're much better against cavalry now. You actually don't want to use Kolek and Shagots against troops like Spearmen, because Spearmen do more damage than it's worth for the cost, so it makes a lot of sense. Let's see, dwarves, miners with blasting charges are actually cheaper all around. Dwarf warriors, all of them are actually cheaper, and they've actually been buffed. +2 melee defense, +2 HP, and 5 attack. Oh no, 5 armor. That's what it is, 5 armor. Damn, that's pretty significant. This is all pretty significant right here. Now equal to 2 Empire Spearman units in the front. Wow. Dwarf warriors with great weapons actually have -1 damage with +1 armor piercing. Okay, so now 2 dwarf warriors with great weapons nearly equals 1 great swords when attacking simultaneously, with the benefit of more versatility on the side of the dwarves. Okay. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass for the dwarf warriors are +2 HP. All longbeards have +1 melee defense and +2 HP. Longbeards of great weapons, charge defense versus large added. Ooh, that's pretty significant. -4 charge bonus for the same price. Longbeards of great weapons now have a slight advantage over against Graveguard, plus the additional benefits of charge defense versus large, more versatility and higher grumpiness. Okay. So these guys are actually much better against cavalry for the cost. The Grumbling Guard, which are Longbeards with great weapons, have +1 melee defense. Know that this Longbeards unit keeps its higher charge bonus instead of getting the charge defense versus large. So the Grumbling Guard is actually not good against cavalry. Okay. Iron Drake Trollhammers -1 multiplier cost, or 100 multiplier cost. So they're cheaper. Slayers -2 damage +2 armor piercing. That's pretty significant right there. Holy crap. So you don't actually want to use these guys against lightly armored troops. The +2 armor piercing is actually pretty significant against heavily armored troops. Iron Breakers are cheaper. Non-Gremlings Iron Breakers are also a little bit cheaper. Gyrocopters have plus turn speed, but -5 fly speed, so they're actually a little slower, but they can actually turn around on their axes faster. Gyrocopters with steam guns are more accurate, and they have better damage to the center of impact. Pretty cool. Thunderers have +1 damage. Damn, that's huge. Because, I mean, I like to field like 2 or 3 Thunderers in any army I can get. Plus, with some Dwarf Cannons, I guess that have +20 range. Some Organ Guns and +15 range. Dude, this is significant. Holy crap. Okay, for the Empire, all their flying mounts are actually more expensive. Griffins have -200 mass. That's pretty huge. So the Griffins are actually a little less bulky. All Spearmen have -1 melee attack and -1 charge bonus, but they actually have +1 bonus versus large. So they're better at taking on cavalry. It takes about 1.7 Spearmen with shields or 2 Spearmen units to best 1 dwarf warrior unit. So for a 2-for-1 ratio, if for some reason you feel like bringing a spear to an axe fight. So for cheap builds against dwarves, 2 Spearmen units can now basically take on 1 dwarf unit. If for some reason you feel like bringing a spear to an axe fight, that's a very good comment on the part of Creative Assembly. Great swords have spacing and charge animation changes, and now fewer entities into the second rank can attack and slightly reducing overall charge damage. So great swords are now a little weaker, I would say. Handgunners have +1 damage. That's pretty significant. Hellblaster volley guns are cheaper. Outriders with the grenade launcher have -1 second reload time. That's pretty significant. 4 explosive damage, 2 explosive AP damage. Excuse me, +10 range and -2 ammo. Okay. Free Company Militia are cheaper, but they have better accuracy as well. Damn, that's a straight buff. So for these guys too, the Outriders with grenade launchers are now straight buffed. The Knights of the Blazing Sun have a little less magic resistance. For the Greenskins, doesn't look like there's too much different. There's Chariots, they have +8 melee defense. Wow. And they're cheaper now. Orc Warboy Big Guns are now, they have -2 charge bonus, but they actually have +1 damage, -1 AP damage. So these Big Guns here are a little less good against armored foes, which makes sense because actually their armor piercing is better on the regular Big Guns than the Boar Boy Big Guns, or on the regular Boar Boys instead of the Big Guns version. The Broken Tusk Mob is -2 charge bonus, +1 damage, -1 AP, -4 morale, -2 melee defense, -1 melee attack, and are more expensive. So this is a straight, I would say this is a straight decrease. Holy crap, they're more expensive and they have reduced stats all around. So that's definitely a pretty big nerf. Giant reduced hit reaction chance. Okay, and then the Squig Herds reduced speed from 70 to 58. Damn, that's huge. And removed Vanguard deployment and reduced mass. So Squig Herds are now a little more fragile. Remove the Vanguard deployment, that's a big one. And then they're actually slower, quite a bit slower. This is a 12-point decrease, so that's pretty crazy. Vampires, Hellsteeds, -5 ground run speed and -5 fly speed. So these guys have just been basically nerfed for their speed. And then the Grave Guards with great weapons are actually +2 AP damage. Okay, +1 melee defense, but -2 charge bonus. So they're better in defense now. A little better with defending a position. that's about it, guys. You'll see a link for these in the description below, and let me know what you think about the changes. I want to hear what you guys think about all of these changes. If you like them, if you dislike them, let me know in the comments below. I will see you guys in the next episode. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.